message for the fans. We're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets.
Well, all right, everybody. Here we are. Welcome to the show. This is the Thursday Thick of It. I am GreenBean. I'm happy to be here with you. I'm most happy because I get to spend time with that fella next to me. We like to call him Gunny. Sir, how are you this fine Thursday evening?
Hey, what's up, GreenBean? I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Can't complain. Life is good. I got family in town right now. My mother-in-law's in the building, so we've been having a good time at the house. Just got a new car last week. I'm officially part of the Tesla gang.
Yeah.
So it's been a good month so far. Been a good month so far for the Boberns.
You gotta love new car month. Now you didn't just get one, right? You got like a whole bunch of Teslas.
Yeah. We got two of them. So my mom and my dad wanted one as well. So we went in there. I threw on the negotiation cap and went in there and got a really good deal on 2 Teslas last week. So that's why I missed last week's show. I apologize for that. It was supposed to be in and out. Then I got the last minute request to go ahead and get one for them as well. I had to have the conversation, and that took longer than anticipated. But nevertheless, we're definitely a Tesla gang over here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Yeah, and congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
If you're gonna get a deal, the best time, if you're thinking about another, you do them together, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
You can negotiate. Hey, how long did it take you to punch that damn thing?
Step in there, literally out of the freaking parking lot. So the funny thing is, like, I had to drive my parents' Tesla to their house first, right? So I'm in theirs, and I think theirs came with the accelerated boost or something like that, boost accelerator. Some feature that allows, and they got the Model Y, so they got the SUV version. And that thing shocked me how fast it was. And then, of course, after I came back to the dealership to get mine to bring that one home, I got the Model 3, and that thing was fast. Like, I was just like, okay, yeah, this is dangerous. This is dangerously fun. But yeah, definitely. I've enjoyed driving to work in traffic the last couple of days.
Do you do the self-driving yet?
The self-driving and everything. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Do you trust it?
Oh, I do. A little too much. I put about 500 miles on mine already, and I would say about 80% of it has been on autopilot. It's been great.
Dude, I've never been in a car that has had the self-driving. Like I haven't been able to do that yet. Look, I haven't done it, so I don't know, but I got to tell you, the idea scares me, Gunny. Have you did it take you a second, or did you just say, wait, what button is it?
Yeah, literally what button is it? And I wanted to go ahead and pretty much try it out. And it works extremely well. Like, I'm talking about it. So at first, like, you're in traffic and you get a little scared because you're wondering to yourself, is this thing really going to stop at this traffic jam up ahead? And then it does, and then you're like, oh, okay, cool, that was cool. And then you're taking like a turn, like a bit of a bend, a little bit faster than you would like to for a computer to figure out at 60-65 miles an hour, and it freaking crushes it and it hits it like no issues at all. I'm like, all right, I mean, this thing drives about as well as I can. So it didn't take me long at all. My parents think I'm crazy for trusting it 100%. My wife thinks I'm a little bit crazy for trusting it that much, but I thoroughly enjoy the autopilot.
Can you see yourself taking a nap? Like, can you see it?
I think once it gets to that point, yes.
Holy cow. That scares me. But I'll tell you, man, that's fun. We're in the future. We finally made it. Oh, wait, you got muted there for a second. Wait, what happened?
Nah, the wife was asking the question. She was like, I didn't realize you guys were Tesla salesmen now. All of a sudden, I thought we were talking about the Jets.
We're not sale. We're just excited. We're just excited.
It's exciting.
Well, congratulations, Gunny. I think that, it's always fun to get a new car. When you get a nice new car and something like this with features that other cars don't have, even better. Good for you. You deserve it, my friend. You deserve it. Now,
appreciate you.
I will tell everybody a couple of things. Number one, we're going to be sponsored. This show is sponsored by a new sponsor, Raycon earbuds and headphones. So I got them right here. We'll talk it where it is. Let me just make it clearer. There it is. The light is getting it. There it is. Raycon. We'll get to them a little bit later, but I wanted to mention it. And I'm going to be giving something away that has been tugging at my heartstrings a little bit, Gunny. This is a personal effect of mine. Only a couple people in the world have these, all right? And I'm going to give them away. Every super chat tonight is qualified to get. There's only 4 sets of these in the world, okay? They were made, but I don't have, like, I'm constantly just moving around. I don't use them. So I want somebody to use them. What they are, Gunny, is they're coasters. There's a set of coasters.
Okay.
That it is the Talking Jets network.
Oh, that's clean.
So you got the GreenBean, you got the Jets Talk 24/7, you got the Matt O'Leary Just Jets podcast, and then you got the Talking Jets network. These are handmade, and I love them. But again, I don't use them, so I feel like somebody should use them. Somebody that would appreciate them. Somebody that, wants a keepsake. So every super chat tonight will get qualified, and I'll ship these on out to you. We've given a couple nice things away. I actually shipped those out earlier this week. We shipped out a razor and some deodorant and some liquid IV and all kinds of fun stuff that I have. But this tonight, we're going to show you. We're going to get somebody who's going to be the lucky recipient. I got to tell you, my favorite one is this one. I don't know why.
That's clean. I mean, I think I see a very uncanny resemblance to somebody I know. Maybe that's why you like it.
Yeah, I like that one.
Is that wood? Are those all engraved in wood? That's nice.
Yep. So
that's really nice work.
Yeah. So Ryan has one, Matt has one, and I think we gave one away when they were first made. I think we gave one other set away. So there's only 4 in the world, guys. 4 in the world, and you can get yourselves in on that. So, Gunny, let's start with this. I'm a little excited. We're getting closer and closer to our Super Bowl, right? So the draft is coming. Now, there's a varying degree of, feelings. We got all over the place this year. Most years, last year, we were pumped. Everybody across the board, everybody was excited. We had the 10th overall pick. We had Aaron Rodgers coming back from the Achilles. We had Garrett Wilson, and we were all excited. We signed Mike Williams, and we got Tyron Smith, and all these guys. We're gonna, push us over the edge. And we were, who are we gonna draft at 10? Is it gonna be Rome Odunze, Brock Bowers, a tackle? Who would it be? This year, it's a little bit different. Coming off of last year, Gunny, last year damn near killed us, right? We were, Jets fans are professionals in dealing with disappointment. But last year was even hard for us. Like, it was about the most disappointing year that I can remember. And 42 years of being a Jets fan, it's
That's
tough to beat. It was a lot, right? So this draft, we had to fire everybody. We got rid of Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and the CJ Mosley era is over. And we saw lots of other guys, DJ Reed, Kenny Yeboah. Then you got the Solomon Thomases, the Reddicks, the Leaky Fotus, the Kinlaws of the world. They're all gone. The Tyler Conklins, they're all gone, Gunny. So going into this draft, we don't really know how to, I got people that are pumped. I got people that are just like, I'm kind of tapped out. Where does Gunny stand on this one? And, tell me why.
Yeah, I think this draft is one that's brought me as a fan and as a content creator back down to earth, right? I think that the last couple of years we were riding real high on the possibility of what bringing in Aaron Rodgers can do for our franchise. I think after going through the Zach Wilson era and finally talking about how we're just a quarterback away because the defense is so elite, we've got a freaking stud wide receiver and running game. I think after all that, right, over the last few years, I think I've now come back down to earth in terms of, one, who we are with the Jets. Good things don't usually happen to us.
Right.
We played ourselves and believing that good things could happen to us. But again, if you're a fan, this is the very definition of being a fan, is being overzealous in regards to what your team can accomplish. So we fell into that drift. So this draft for me, man, I think it's more focused on pieces you can add to build a culture. Because I think what I realized is that you can have all the talent in the world. In the NFL, it doesn't matter if the coaching is horrendous. I think the one thing we all thought was Aaron Rodgers is going to be some dude that can overcome mid coaching. We were hoping for mediocre coaching that Aaron Rodgers would have to overcome, but it wind up being just atrocious coaching, just incompetent coaching all around. I've been on record as saying this, man. I don't think we had a single advantage in any single game last year when it came to the coaching front. I would do my weekly previews of the games, and when it came to the coaching analyzation, I sat there and I'm like, I don't know if we're better than these guys in that level. We had better quarterbacks. We had the better defensive line. We had the better freaking defense. Better
running backs.
Receivers, but never did I feel like better running backs. Never did I look at a competition last year and thought to myself, you know what? We got them definitely with the coaching. So I think for me, this draft is about creating the culture, kind of seeing the way our new head coach and our general manager analyzes talent. I think one of the perks that we have as Jets fans is that we've seen so much bad football that we know what bad looks like. So we'll know real quick if these guys are bad at doing their job. It'll be real quick for us to identify that. So I think knowing that we have a competent guy in terms of the coaching, a competent guy in the GM's office making those decisions is going to be, man, it's going to go ahead and be eye-opening for us. So this draft for me is about, you know what I'm saying, like, who do we have at the helm here? We've heard, you know, the speeches. We've seen how under the radar they've been. They've been pretty quiet. Kind of love that about taking a different approach to being the loud New York Jets the last couple of years. Now we're just quiet. We're just in the background trying to go ahead and build this team up. What they do in this draft is going to go ahead and give us more of an indication of what we have in that front office and in the head coaching position. And for me, I think the decision is pretty simple. You go after a guy like Tyler Warren. You know, I know Membu's on a lot of people's minds as well. The whole trade aspect of Kyle Pitts was to come over and we trade down to 15. I think is very appealing. A lot can go ahead and kind of dictate the direction we're going to be going in. But for me, I'm just trying to see any type of progress in the right direction in terms of having a competent organization that we can root for as a fan base.
Yeah. I think, look, man, you're nailing it. I mean, you know, the idea, like, look, when you're walking on the field and you're literally, so your offense is coming on the field, the kickoffs, they kick us the ball and you see Aaron Rodgers, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and Devontae Adams trotting out on the field. You should, most teams, you're looking at it and going, we probably outmatch them here.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, and then Tyler Conklin, who's maybe not great, but he's good. And it's like, and we looked like complete ass. Like you said, two things. You mentioned coaching. There was not a single game last year where you felt that if it comes down to coaching, we got it. There's not one game all year, and it's really been that way, sadly. Now, you can argue that on the defensive side of the ball, maybe, we could do some things, but they didn't really coach the defensive side of the ball either. They ran their system. Like, that's what they did, and they lived and died by it. There were so many games that we saw over the years where, like, look, Sauce, he's on his side, and they got the guy on the other side. A CeeDee Lamb game with against the Cowboys really comes to mind. Yep. He's running rampant, and you got your best cornerback. He's not covering him. Like, at some point, you go, all right, well, take Sauce Gardner and fucking shadow this guy. But they won't do that. So, like, they weren't even really coaching defense, Gunny. They were just calling the schemes, But it's like you nailed it. And the other one is, you said this too, culture. Our culture was one that as soon as anything bad happened, we saw it in the Pittsburgh game last year, we were positively dominating them in their house. One pick, one interception. Aaron Rodgers throws an interception, and we completely folded on both sides of the ball. It was like the game was over. It was the most stark, crazy, we stopped on a dime and just had nothing for them the rest of the game. It was 2.5 quarters. We just packed it in. So our culture was one that, like, we don't really know how to persevere. How many fourth quarter games that we lose, like with a lead, all that kind of shit. So that's really going to be the thing is, and I like how Aaron Glenn is talking, going into the offseason and through free agency, heading into the draft. He said, look, this year, he said, we can be talking X's and O's. We got plenty of time for that, I think is how he said it. We got plenty of time for X's and O's. The first thing we got to do, my energy, my time is spent on setting up the culture. And that means getting rid of some guys and bringing in some guys. The guys that they bring you might not like them, look, the most polarizing, I think, is Brandon Stevens, right? The cornerback that we got from the Ravens. We gave him a little more, right? We gave him a nice contract. People were saying, wait a minute, you gave him just about what DJ Reed got.
Exactly.
Why the hell didn't you just give it to DJ Reed, right? So, but number one, zone versus man and all that kind of shit, how they intend to use him. But number two, he's a culture guy. Right. So that's the thing. So they're bringing guys in that they know that they feel confident in anyway, are going to be a part of this new culture that they're trying to bring. Now, look, it might blow up. We don't know how it's going to work, but you got to like the sound of that. Do you agree, Gunny?
No, 100%. I think when it boils down to doing something different, we're there, right? We've been doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. We all know the very definition of that is insanity, and seeing them take a different approach at this is refreshing. Whether or not it's going to work, you're right. It doesn't know, but we do know for a fact that the way we were doing it wasn't working anyway. So, like, are we really in a position to question decisions that are being made that we're thinking doesn't make any sense? A lot of us were excited about freaking the Salah hiring. A lot of us were excited about bringing in Aaron Rodgers. A lot of us were excited about bringing in Devontae Adams. A lot of us were excited about what this running game and this offensive line could do. Like, listen, we've been wrong a lot as well as the fan base. So to see them do things like I was in the same boat. Like, why are we not keeping DJ Reed? This makes no sense for the same price point. DJ Reed in my mind is a better corner. But again, right? Sometimes you could have all the talent in the world on the field, but if the culture is shit, then the output is exactly that too. It's shit. So at this point, I've just gotten to the point where, you know what? Let me see what Aaron Glenn does. Let me see how this correlates to actual winning or at least competent football on the playing field. Because, I mean, we've hit rock bottom, Jets fans. Like, we've already been like, I mean, I really want to say like how worse can it get? Like, but I don't want to find out if it could get worse. I feel like we've been there with the Aaron Rodgers experience specifically. I mean, the dude literally tore his freaking Achilles 4 plays in. Like, I don't know if we haven't hit rock bottom yet as a fan base. So I'm all on board about seeing us do things differently in the hopes that we actually see different results.
Yeah. And it's like, look, with DJ Reed too, he's a great culture guy, right? He's been a great culture guy, but the problem is he didn't want to be here. So he said it publicly. I am going. I'm leaving. I'm done with this. Look, I gave you guys everything I could. I'm grateful. I appreciate it. And the whole thing, I had some laughs, but you can keep your Jets curse. I'm going somewhere else. I'll get paid this year. I'm going to get paid, and I'm going to go somewhere where, look, good luck, all the best of luck, but it's not my issue. It's like, you leave a relationship. You're like, hey, look, man, we tried. You're a mess. And I just, I only live once, man. It's time to go. You know what I mean? Sorry. Yep. I wish you well, So keeping a guy like franchising him and keeping a guy like that around, that now becomes a negative point to the culture, right? So it just is what it is with him. We all I think most Jets fans wanted to keep Reed. He's a stud. Yeah. He's a stud, and he made good,
And they did focus on the fact that, I mean, Aaron Glenn said this, like, we want guys who want to be here. Like, if you want to be here, like, we want you to be here as well. And that's also a different approach when you're thinking about, you're bringing these guys in that want to be New York Jets. It's not just about the paycheck. It's not just about, because they were drafted to come here or paying them a bunch of money to go ahead. When before they were coming to play with Aaron Rodgers, et cetera, et cetera. But, like, they want to be here, and they stated as much. So, yeah, I think that as much as we all liked DJ Reed not wanting to be a New York Jet should have been enough for us to go ahead and say, go on with yourself. But again, this is us having to adjust to a different culture and a different mindset of, it's not just about the talent level. It's about your desire to go ahead and wear that uniform as well and represent the New York Jets. So
exactly right. So guys, we're at the Thursday thick of it. I'm GreenBean. That's Gunny. Couple reminders, like Tony Alexio saying, give us more milk dung. Although I made something up this week, Gunny. I'll show you real quick. It just popped into my head. I don't know where it came from, but I'll show you guys what I was thinking. Let's see where it is here. I'll show you. It just kind of popped out of my mouth. You can tell me. I'll do a poll. And by the way, there is a poll up there right now. Let us know what you're thinking and get your votes in, and I'll end the poll in just a second. So, Gunny, what do you think of this? Wait, let me make sure the sound's on. Wait, hold on. The Patriots. Wrong one. Here we go. Maybe we'll call it the butt thumbs next. We got the middle. We got the butt thumb. There you go. The old butt thumbs. What do you think?
I mean, I think the milk thumbs is kind of like a catchphrase for you now.
Yeah.
The butt thumbs seems like we're getting into a different kind of a channel.
We're a little, right? We're turning a corner.
We're turning a corner. Yeah, I don't know if we want to go down that road, though.
Right. You're like, I don't know if you want to go down that alley. You know, that's a tough alleyway you're making a left turn into there. But yeah, so give us more milk thumbs. Don't forget to hit the like button, everybody, and subscribe to the channel if you'd be so kind, if you haven't just yet. And there was a question in here. I want to pull it up for you, Gunny. Where is it? I'm going to put, here it is, from Oregon Jets. What's Gunny's channel? Well, I'll tell you what Gunny's channel is. Oh, okay. Gunny's channel is New York Jets Situation Report. The link is at the top of the description, right under the ad for Raycon, which if you use that link, you can save 20% off your whole order. We'll get to that in a bit from Raycon. But what I'll do, Gunny, I'll actually pin Gunny's channel link to the chat. How's that sound tonight? Well, maybe we'll do that.
I appreciate that, GreenBean. I appreciate that. And Oregon Jets, appreciate you for asking about that. Hope to see you on a hangout or something.
Yeah. So here we go. Let me copy this link right here. I'm going to throw it in the chat and pin it up top. If you're looking for, wait, what the hell's going on there? Holy shit. Okay, wait a minute. Let me do this. That's not going to work that way. New York Jets Situation. There it is. Hold on. I'll get the damn thing right here for you guys. I'm going to pin it to the chat. And look, man, show Gunny some love. Who deserves love like Gunny, huh? You know what I mean?
I'd appreciate it, guys.
Everybody deserves it. All right, here we go.
I'm just trying to grow up and be like GreenBean.
Well, don't grow up too fast, buddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't do it too fast. This
life comes at you fast, GreenBean. You know how it is. I mean, right. I'm trying to catch you though. You can see. I got a little white tree. I'm trying to catch you. I'm trying.
You're working on it. Well, look, the life does move fast, especially when you get yourself a Tesla and you're speeding around in that thing.
You're telling no lies. You're telling absolutely no lies.
So let's end this poll. We got 108 votes, so we'll go ahead and close. I asked you a question, and we'll talk about this topic next, Gunny. The big news of the day is Alan Lazard. So I asked everybody, how do you feel about the Lazard restructuring? So we talked about this a lot. You know, a lot of people the foregone conclusion was Alan Lazard's gone, right? Yeah. But you know, we talked about it maybe a month ago here. We said, sneaky. I think guys that we thought, like, look, we lost some guys that maybe we didn't expect to lose. Maybe a Conklin, you thought they'd re-sign a Conklin. I was hoping they re-signed Yeboah, a couple other guys. But Lazard and Michael Clemens are still on the roster, and we were like, We're waiting to see what's going on here. Well, Lazard got restructured today, so it looks like he's definitely going to be here for the year. They got him down $8.5 million on the cap, which is a positive. But I asked how everybody's feeling. So with 49%, Gunny, great move, saved $8.5 million for a good wide receiver 4. Now you got to hope that a 2 and 3, show up, right? But good wide receiver 4. He could be, really, really effective in the blocking game for runs and all that kind of stuff. So, and he did have some real nice plays last year without those damn drops,
Yeah.
But so number 2 with 28% was, whatever, Number 3, a big nothing burger with 19%. And 2% said so dumb, same old Jets. So, hey, I think most are saying, hey, you know what? Look, we got holes on the roster. You need guys to play this year.
100%.
He's a big, strong fella. He's around. So if you're going to keep him, trimming the fat by $8.5 million.
That's the way to do it.
It's a pretty good way to do it. So how you feeling about this one? Is he one of the guys you thought were definitely gone there? How do you feel overall?
Honestly, I thought he was gone. I did. I didn't think there was a situation or a scenario where he'd be on this roster as we came closer to, I guess, the draft, right? But again, I think it was a couple weeks ago, you and I were talking about it. We were still shocked he was still on the roster, as everybody else had already been released or let go or whatever, and he was still on the roster. He's been awfully quiet. You haven't heard much about him. So I kind of had a feeling there might be something, on the horizon. I was not expecting this kind of a pay cut for him to remain a New York Jet. Listen, for that price point, to be upset about it doesn't make sense to me. You're talking about a guy who was a big body wide receiver, and as GreenBean said, he is an impact run blocker, right? He's going to help in regards to in the run game. And it's not that the guy is not a passionate dude. Like, he's a very passionate dude, and I think he's a competitive guy, but those drops do hurt. But every now and again, he's made a game-changing play. Like, that's been also his forte. I'm going to go ahead and frustrate the hell out of you, but when I make this play, you're going to be jumping up, cheering, and clapping for me. So he's a guy that can go ahead and do that. And the wide receiver position, man, it's at a premium. It's expensive. Are y'all seeing these contracts these guys are getting nowadays? At a wide receiver 4 with his pedigree in terms of his background and what he's done in the league, I think we got a bargain. I still think we need another piece in that wide receiver room. Hopefully in the draft, we go ahead and get that guy. But you kind of like the way the wide receiver room is shaping out a little bit more now. I still am a believer in Malachi Corley. The dude seems to be on a different, wavelength in terms of this season. He seems excited. Maybe this coaching staff is going to actually be able to utilize his skill set, since the last coaching staff, as you stated earlier, was more focused on keeping to their freaking game plan versus actually incorporating it around the talent that they had. So I think Lazard at the number 4, I don't think you're going to find many number 4s better than that at the NFL level. And we're getting him now for $8 million. So I like it. I think I wasn't expecting him to take that kind of a cut. I really wasn't. That's what I think surprised me the most. But is that an indication if he wants to be here, or an indication that the market wasn't there for him? I'm seeing wide receivers get paid this offseason that really don't have his kind of a resume. So I'm thinking he might have just wanted to be here. So I like it personally. I do think it's an impact move for the wide receiver room, and you still need another guy in there. I don't think we have a legitimate number 2 wide receiver in that room yet, but you got your 3, your 4, and your number 1. So you've got some wiggle room now in the draft to go ahead and go get your number 2 guy.
I love everything you said. And I think if you look at it through that lens, that, like we talked about a few minutes ago, Aaron Glenn has said, look, we want guys who want to be here. Like Aaron Glenn himself, he said, this was the job I wanted, right? Now, we talked about our head coaching hopes and all that shit leading up to it. We all had different guys. We had the Vrabels, we had the Floreses, we had the McCowns and the Ben Johnsons and all this stuff, right? And Aaron Glenn was in the mix. And, maybe some of us were, he wasn't our first choice. And that includes myself. But when you look at him, there are definite positives, right? He knows and you see the way he's handling the press. He's been here before. He's been here, done it. He knows what Rich Cimini's deal is. He knows he's trying to get a gotcha. He cuts him off at the ankle and goes, oh, listen, boom. And he just, you know what I mean? He's not playing any games. So that's a positive. But the thing that he said that really, it's got to hit home, is that this is the job I wanted. Yes, I wanted to be a head coach. If it wasn't open, I'd go somewhere, of course. But this is the one. This was the place I wanted to be. And he wants players that want to be here. And that's not an easy task. There are players, more players want to leave than want to come here, right? Let's be real. So when you look at somebody like Alan Lazard, he could have just said, no, man, cut me. I don't, cut me. He could have made that, that
crystal
point
clear. Yep.
He would have gotten signed somewhere. You know what
100%.
I mean? Now, I don't think
100%.
he's getting big money or anything like that.
No.
But I think, look, you can choose either way because I do think that the market was probably thin, right, for him. But like you said, wide receivers outside of quarterback really are the premium position on offense. Obviously, offensive line and they're, of course, but wide receiver contracts are out of control. 35 million. I mean, it's quarterback money in my brain. I can't even reconcile it. So when you look at it that way, you get a wide receiver for. He knows the guys. So he's been here with, Garrett and Brees and then Fashanu and AVT. Like they all did. He's part of the squad. He's willing to take an $8.5 million cut to stay here one more year, and he becomes a free agent next year. So it's like, okay, that's a positive. I want to be here. You know what I mean? He could have said, cut me, So I'm going to choose to look at it through that lens. And I'm not going to make it bigger than it is. It's Alan Lazard. But again, you need bodies. You need people in here. And what are you going to get out there for like that, that tier? What do you bring? You're bringing in a guy who has issues or else he'd be signed. Fair enough, Gunny?
That's fair. No, that's 100% fair.
Right? He's going to be signed already. Anybody out there right now has got something going on. The last guy, Amari Cooper's still out there, which is interesting, and that's got to just be he's holding out for some money. He wants to get paid.
Yeah, I think he's holding off either for money or for a contender because he's on the back end of his career. I definitely think that it's his choice right now, a contender or getting paid, one or the other. And
he'll wait. Somebody's going to get injured. Something's going to happen.
He knows the game. He knows the game.
Right. And, teams go into the draft. They have their hopes. And let's say they can't pull together the plan that they hoped to fix the wide receiver position on their team. And all right, let's go get Amari Cooper. So, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff happens. But it's really interesting, So our wide receiver room right now looks like this. Well, let me bring it up because there's one guy. I can't remember his damn name. We just signed him in the offseason.
Reynolds?
Not Reynolds, the other guy. Who is it? Matthews or some shit? I just can't remember his name, Gunny. Let's see who it is. All right, so here's what Tyler Johnson. Who the fuck is Tyler Johnson?
Who the heck is Tyler Johnson?
I don't know. I don't know who it is. So here's our wide receiver room, the way it looks now, Jets fans. And then I'm going to get to those super chats. I'll remind you, all super chats tonight. Right now, there's only 2 of you, so you got a 50% chance right now. All super chats are going to get entered into the drawing at the end of the stream to win one of 4 in existence coaster set that looks like this. Ryan has one. O'Leary has one. I have one, and we gave one away when they were first made. So you got the Jets Talk 24/7. You got the GreenBean. You got the Matt O'Leary Just Jets. And you got the network itself, the Talking Jets network. So, again, I don't use them. I do love them, but they're always with me. They're always around, but I don't use them. So I want somebody to use them. I want somebody that'll appreciate it. So anyway, I'll get to those in a second. But let's talk about this depth chart here. Here we go. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Why not? So we can take a look here, Gunny. Here's what it looks like, everybody. You got G-Dubs. He's our star. He's our wide receiver 1. Then you got behind him, you got Malachi Corley and Irvin Charles. Irvin Charles, as we know, is not so much a wide receiver as he is our special teams ace. And he got injured last year, so hopefully he comes back and his normal self because he's a demon on special teams. You guy kind of found something there, right? With an undrafted free agent. But then you got this guy, Ontario Wilson. I don't know who the hell that is. I never heard of him before. Then you got Josh. What's that?
Practice squad guy, most likely.
Yeah, no doubt. Josh Reynolds, who we signed in the offseason, and Tyler Johnson, who we signed in the offseason. Yeah, then we got Brandon Smith. You remember Brandon Smith, Gunny?
Yeah, is he back?
Well, yep, he's still here. So he had that at the preseason last year. He and Tony Alexio's guy, the Martinez package, they had those bombs in preseason. Remember that?
Yep.
That was fun. So he's still around. Maybe maybe he materializes into something, but long shot, but he's here. You got Marcus Riley. So now look at these guys too. You got Alan Lazard, Xavier Gibson, and Aesop Wilson or Winston. Who's Aesop Winston?
I don't even know who Aesop is.
Look at these guys.
And he's been on the team.
So,
it's a little guy.
Yeah, little tiny fella here. Let's see. 5'11", 192 pounds. Where did he come from? He came from the Los Angeles Rams. And look at his history here. He was, let's see, down here. Oh, wait. So 2020, Rams waived, free agent waived, just kind of bouncing around. Been on the Seahawks, been on the Saints, Yeah. So he's here. He's a practice squad guy.
He's a body. He's a body. Some NFL experience. But can we say this? Even though two of those guys are free agents, we can call it thin, no? Thin is definitively the answer I would go with. Tyler Johnson, I don't even know who that guy is.
Let's see.
But yeah, like, has he played?
Yeah, so signed, waived. Let's look at his. Hold on a second here. What
does his career look like?
Whoops.
But it stays true to the whole regime or the whole concept of going young, right? Because he's a 26-year-old guy. Maybe he's salty about the way his career has turned out, and they're hoping that somehow we could light a fire under his ass, I guess.
Right, who knows? So let's see. He had 26 receptions for 291 yards and a touchdown last year. He played in
60% catch rate. That's not bad.
Not bad. He had 10 first downs. He's 63-yard long. That's a nice bomb, man. That's not bad right there. So, he's a guy. He can catch the ball. Let's look real quick at Josh Reynolds. Josh Reynolds is actually pretty good. Yeah. Let's see here. He's got nice hair, so that's good. Josh Reynolds is, 6'3", 192 pounds, big body guy.
Yeah.
So we're just looking at last year. Not too much here. Wow, he didn't do much the last couple of years.
Yeah, the last couple of years.
Oh, I thought he had a little bit. Oh, wait, yeah, I guess up here.
23 is his
He's
last
a vet.
game. Yeah, he's a vet.
So look, 3 teams though last year. He was on the Denver, 2 teams. So the Denver Broncos and the Jacksonville Jaguars last year. But these are just kind of, you never know. It doesn't even, I don't even think their roster spots are guaranteed.
No, that's facts. These guys can be bumped. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the wide receiver room is definitely a room that is in shambles. I mean, I think thin is a kind way of putting it, but
right.
we've got to find a way to get Garrett Wilson some help, to get, Justin Fields some help. Like, and this is why I think the draft, if we're not going offense in the first round, unless by some ridiculous miracle, while having a brain fart, drops. The edge rusher drops us at number 7.
Wait, say that again.
The only way we go defense, I think, is if the edge rusher that. Oh my gosh, why am I having
Carter?
a brain fart?
Yeah, Abdul Carter.
Abdul Carter. Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know that. Yeah, that's the only way we go defense, right? If Abdul Carter drops to number 7, you don't have a choice. You run and you give that card to select him. If he's not there, which I don't believe he will be, even though mock draft says he's going to drop, I don't think he's going to drop to number 7. You've got to go ahead and find a way to help this offense out. Rookie offensive coordinator. Justin Fields is a quarterback right now, still trying to figure out if he's got it or not. We need to know if we're going to invest in this kid for next year, or if next year we can go ahead and find a franchise quarterback in the draft. Like, I really am a big believer that the offense needs a lot of love and attention, so we can make sure we're making the right decision come next year. I know a lot of individuals love Tet. I love Tet. I think his pro day showed he can run as well. He surprised a lot of individuals with how fast he ran, because that was the biggest question mark. I do believe his comments definitely hurt him a little bit, man, talking about, like, I don't really watch film. Come on, bro. What are you doing? But one of those things where you'd rather know about that up front than, have to start adding incentives in his contract to watch game tape like you do with Kyler Murray because he'd rather play video games or something. So that Ted actually upset me with that one, really did. So for me, I think Tyler Warren is the guy. I think if you can get Warren in the building, you got a guy who can play tight end. He can go ahead and play the big outside wide receiver if need be as well. Willing blocker, good hands, high football IQ. I think he's a guy you bring in to help the offense out because, man, in terms of options, really, after Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, are you really confident that anyone else can, be the go-to guy for a play when you need it? And I think that's concerning when it comes to playing 21st century football.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm just hoping. I want them to grab a wide receiver early in the draft. Truth is, I'd be delighted if they did it in round 1. I would. Now, I'm all into the Tyler Warren. If they want to go Membu, I'm totally good with it. I want to see them go offense in the first round. Yeah, like you said, look, if Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter, some miracle they slide to you, different story. If Shador Sanders is there, I'm really hoping that they can work the phones and get a little trade. Get a little trade back going. Look at this new camera. You
look crisp. I like that. You look real
good,
crisp.
right? I got it set up, but it's a weird. It doesn't allow me to zoom or unzoom. So it is what it is, and I can only get it so far away. So it's like either my fucking top of my head's cut off a little bit or my beard. So I got to work it out. But I do feel it looks pretty nice, right?
It looks really good. It looks really good. You're coming in 4K.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Not that I don't know. People are like, I don't know if we needed GreenBean in 4K.
4K.
Yeah, a little too clear. I could say. So, but anywho, yeah, I'm hoping they do that. And I'm really, dude, I believe in Malachi Corley. I think that he was a victim of a clueless offensive staff last year. Didn't know right from wrong, didn't know up from down. Just they were lost. That's it. They were just like, Aaron, what do you want to do? That's really what it boiled down to. And so I'm hoping that Aaron Glenn sees him because let me tell you something. He's exactly the kind of player that an Aaron Glenn would want. Like he talked about our running back room. He used the word aggressive. He used the word violent. And so if you're talking about that, if that's a positive, having 3 big, strong, violent running backs, Malachi Corley fits into that. He is he's a brick shithouse, man. Dude, he's only 5 pounds lighter than Beast Mode, dude. You know what I mean? And he has a similar style. Now, I'm not calling him Marshawn Lynch. No. I'm just saying they got a similar
play style is similar.
The play style is similar, and he's only 5 pounds lighter, dude. He's the same build. So get the ball in his hands. He can juke and he can run through you. So, and he's got those running back legs, man. So anyway, I'm hoping we bring one in. You got Lazard, you got Reynolds, you know what I mean? You got Brandon, what I call him? Brandon Williams was his name? Shit, I can't remember his name already. Brandon Smith, damn it.
Smith, yeah.
You know what I mean? You got some guys, and it's like if Garrett Wilson, Malachi Corley, and our first or second round rookie Higgins or somebody like that, Abuka, get him in here, and I'm fine. I feel really good about the room. So let's get into a couple super chats here. JJ Homs is starting us off. What's up, JJ? Good to see you, buddy. He says, I had hopes for Glenn. Now I'm just scratching my head. And at the front for that, JJ has made his feelings very, very clear. He does not like the Justin Fields move. And the thing is, if you don't like that move, Gunny, if you really don't like that move, like JJ has expressed, what else? You know what I mean? Like he's the quarterback. So it's like, if you think the quarterback has no chance of succeeding, what else can you do? Because he's the leader of the, if he sucks, the offense isn't going nowhere. Is that a fair point?
No, 100%. I think, Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields is kind of polarizing because it's like a 50-50, right? In terms of Jets fans who think to themselves, okay, what if, right? And then the other half are just like trash. This makes no sense whatsoever. He's trash. I, on the other hand, am one of those guys who watch Justin Fields because my wife is a Packers fan, so I've seen a lot of Bears games. And I saw a guy, man, who was always out there by himself, not much support. Talk about an incompetent coaching staff, no offensive line. and still was able to go ahead and make some big time plays. I think he brings to him an elite trait to the quarterback position. He's got elite athleticism. He's going to be an elite scrambler. And whenever you've got an elite trait at that position, I think you take a chance, right? And I see what they're doing. He's a young guy. Maybe the change of scenery helps him out. Last year, you saw him have his best passing statistics, but they went a different route. They're with Russell Wilson, with the experienced guy. But in terms of passing, you saw him take another step last year. And if you look at his career trajectory, like he's literally gotten better each year at passing the football. Like that's just that literally look at his career trajectory. Every single year he's shown progression in a positive way at throwing the football. Not to mention he's still a freak of nature when it comes to freaking being an athlete. So I think the gamble makes a lot of sense. At the very least, you're going to have some fun football watching him run around back there and maybe freaking scramble for 1,000 yards. Who knows? But I don't think there was an option in terms of quarterbacks this free agency period that was going to move the needle to where like we're Super Bowl contenders or we're getting the first overall pick. A lot of the options were a lot of mid ones. I think the only one that you would look at and think, hey, maybe he provides us an upside to be a franchise guy. Maybe he can have the Sam Darnold story or the Geno Smith story was Justin Fields. So I'm with it. I'm down to see how it plays out. But I'm also on record saying that I think our franchise quarterback is in next year's draft. So either Justin Fields knocks it out of the park and he's a dude, or he doesn't. And we get to pick, early in the draft next year and we could get our guy. So to me, I think as Jets fans, we're really kind of in a win-win situation here.
That's what I think too. But look, JJ, I get it, man. Like that's the thing. Look, I'm able to spin it and I'm able to look at it through a positive lens, but I get it. I definitely get it, about, not believing that Justin Fields is going to do anything for this team. Like, I do get it. There are positives. Again, we have plenty to use to spin it like you just did. You can choose and look at it through a positive lens, but I get it. So that's tough when you feel like that heading into the draft and into the season. Hey, maybe they pull. Hey, JJ, let me know in the comments. I'll try to keep my eye out for it. Who's the guy you want in the draft at pick 7? Who's your number one? I'm real curious. Jerry Moore checking in. What's up, Jerry? Thanks for the super chat. Good to see you. He says Lazard doesn't have a definitive roster spot. Could be traded once Rodgers signs somewhere. Well, look, it's possible for sure. And I'll tell you what, Gunny, you just made him a hell of a lot more attractive. You know what I mean? Trading Lazard for $11 million. That's going to be a tough pull. But if Lazard, let's say Aaron Rodgers signs with the Steelers, let's say, because the reason he's not signed right now, I mean, if it's on them, it's got to be because they're hoping. Let's see if we can get one in the draft. Let's see if we can get, Milrow or Dart or somebody like that.
Yeah, I see the appeal, right, in terms of him potentially being more marketable now because that price point makes him a bit more palatable if you were to trade him and maybe he can be the number 3 for another team. Personally, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to stay here. Again, we also have massive needs in the wide receiver room. I don't think you want to go into the season with this barren of a cupboard when it comes to the wide receiver room. I think you negotiate that contract because you need help in that room, but you also know he wasn't worth the kind of money he was getting. So you find a win-win situation for the team and, of course, the player. Yeah, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he's going to wind up being the guy here, but I do see what you're saying, Jerry, in terms of this contract now makes him a lot easier for another team to go ahead and digest if they needed help in that wide receiver room. But we're also a team that needs help in the wide receiver room. Yeah,
and look, man, right here, I just love this guy. I love this comment. John says, and the whole league knows Lazard is booty cheeks. I love booty cheeks. I just love that phrase, that term. Somebody should use it every stream. I want to see a booty cheeks comment every stream because that's the thing. I know. I just don't know how attractive, again, like was said, and like Mark says here, Mark Sacchetti says he was untradeable before the restructure. And I agree with that.
Agreed.
Even with Aaron Rodgers. Look, Aaron Rodgers goes somewhere, and look, if he goes to the Steelers or the Vikings, those are the two teams kind of still out there, right? He's not going in there and having the same carte blanche, control as he did with the New York Jets. It ain't happening. That's Tomlin's team, and that's O'Connell's team. Tomlin even more so. He's not coming in there. Now, he can ask, say, hey, I'd really be comfortable. I'd love it if you brought over this guy. But look, we don't like him. He sucks, and I'm not giving away any assets for him. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right? I just don't see it, Jerry.
I don't see it either.
Now getting down here, we got another one here from E-Rock Polk. Good to see E-Rock in the house. E-Rock's one of my my first viewers. He was around in the very, very beginning when I had 20 people in a live stream, like watching the game. Remember when I started watching, I was doing the live streams for the games for Jet Nation. And I'm telling you, man, I remember calling the guy who runs Jet Nation, Phil. I remember calling him and saying, dude, we had 25 people the whole time. Like, I was excited about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we get up to, I've gotten up to 2,000 watching the game. It's like, we're like, 800 to 1,200 consistently. But yeah, man, it's just a crazy thing what's happened. It's exciting and fun. But yeah, dude, E-Rock was there way back then, man. So I love E-Rock. Good to see you hanging around again. Gotta go for the chance at a coaster, of course. Oh, yeah, I'm like coasters.
Yep.
Are we talking about roller coasters?
Nah.
Coasters. Right. Yeah. Come on. Who doesn't want that in their house?
Yeah, nah. Facts.
You know what I mean? That's some good shit. So draft predictions, Membu at 7. I'd love a trade back in the first and maybe add a second or third. Let me ask you this, Gunny. Here's a great question going with E-Rock. So if you could pull off a trade back, like, that rumored trade last week was the Falcons. They're going to give us Pitts. And so no picks this year, but they're going to give us next year's first, right? So that would be, I'd take that every day of the week. But let's say you get a trade. So it could be 15, 16, 18, like in that range, right? So somewhere, 13 to 18, let's say. Would you prefer like the extra second this year or the first next year?
The first next year.
Yeah.
I want the first next year.
Listen, me why.
I'll tell you right. I believe if you're telling me today, gun to my head, the New York Jets are going to be contenders this year or drafting the top 5 next year, we're drafting in the top 5 next year. And if we have the capital necessary to move up to number 1 and pick our quarterback, look, I'm thinking long term, right? I think living in the interim and in the hope of the one quarterback away or whatever that we've been living in the last 4 years. The reality is we weren't there. We didn't have a franchise guy. We traded for Aaron Rodgers, hoping he'd be the savior. He's 50, right? So it was hard for him to do that. And quarterback here, she's like 75, right? So I think getting the quarterback, right? Getting the quarterback is so important because it doesn't matter, man. It doesn't matter. I think we've all known now it does not matter. If you don't have that guy and you don't have at least competent coaching, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Look at what happened to the Washington Commanders when they got the freaking coaching right and the quarterback. They put on a show. Nobody saw the Commanders coming. Nobody saw that coming this first season for them. And they put on a show. I want that to be the Jets. So for me, give me next year's first because that's going to be extra capital that we can have to move up to the first overall pick if need be. And we can pick our quarterback because I want to pick our quarterback next year because I think next year's quarterback class is deep. And there's a couple of franchise guys in that draft class. So, yeah. Give me next year's first.
Yeah, I think I gotta do the same thing. If I got the choice, because look, the way that it goes is that next year's like a pick in next year's draft is the value today is a round down, right? So next year's first is an equivalent of this year's second, and then it depends on which team too, because some teams are likely to be up top, Gunny. Some teams you got a good bet, right? Yeah. The Jets, the Jags, those kinds of guys. They're the Cardinals. You can safely say, if you like, you're going to say, all right, the Ravens second this year, or the Cardinals first. You're like, I'll go with the Cardinals. And I'm gonna fuck because they got a good shot of being toward the top of the draft. So that's a pretty safe bet. But yeah, I think. And then look, if I had to predict, if I had to put money on the table, I think this is what I think. And we were talking about this last night a little bit. This is what I think is going on. I think that the Jets are smoke screening right now. This is what I think. I think that they brought in Josh Myers to move Tippmann over to guard. This is what I think. I think that Josh Myers is going to be the starting center. I think Tippmann's going to be the right guard, and I think the plan is to move AVT at right tackle, and our offensive line is done. Okay, our offensive line is done. Didn't Myers play with Justin Fields in college? Wasn't he a center?
Yeah.
Right. So, and I could have that wrong, but I'm just saying, I feel like, correct. So think about that. You bring in Justin Fields as center in college. You got Tippmann, who's a really good center, but he's probably better at guard. So an AVT to the right. So you're smoke screening this Membu thing. Cause if he makes it to 7, and not to say that I'm not saying that he's not a good player. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm saying the Jets are saying they're telegraphing, we want Membu, we want Membu, we want Membu. So if teams, they might even jump us, you know what I mean? Like to get him, because the guy that we want is Tyler Warren. That's what I think. I think the guy that we want is Tyler Warren. So if I had to put money down, I think the Jets take Tyler Warren. How do you feel?
Yeah, well, I will say
this.
Want,
you know what I mean? Not what you want, but what you think.
Yeah, how do I feel? No, I do believe Tyler Warren is the guy. 100%. I think Tyler Warren is the guy as well. I've been saying that for about a month now, and I feel like it's just getting more solidified as we get closer to the draft. I personally would hate AVT at right tackle. I would. I really wouldn't mess with that right guard all the way to left tackle. Those guys last year together, when those guys were in there and Tyron Smith was out, they graded as a top 10 unit, right? Granted, that right tackle position is going to be important. I wouldn't shift those guys. I just think AVT, with the injury history he's had at right tackle, is concerning to me. Now, would he play it? I think he would. I think AVT is a team guy. If you tell him we need him at right tackle, he'll do it. I don't like him there. I don't. I'd rather keep him at right guard. I like Tippmann at center. Again, young guy, great as a top 10 center last year, only getting better. But I see what you're saying in terms of connecting the dots. But I will say this. Ultimately, I do believe Tyler Warren is the guy. I don't think it's Membu either. I don't think Membu is really the guy to go in for at number 7. I think Tyler Warren is the guy. I think he's been the guy for a minute now. And a lot of this, maybe it is to go ahead and play freaking a little bit of look at my hand over here, and then getting hit with the right on this side. So yeah, I want Tyler Warren. I do want Tyler Warren. I'd be 100% on board with that. I would hope that AVT is not moved to right tackle, and maybe that's just me wanting him to. Because again, since he's done it, he's gotten hurt. He's done it twice, and twice he's gotten hurt.
I know,
so I think because of that, in my mind, I'm like, let's just keep the guy where we know he'll be available. I think AVT can be a all pro caliber right guard. I think he can be a starting caliber freaking right tackle in the NFL. He did it for us. We know that.
Yeah, but I think he's a damn good right tackle. But yeah. It's interesting, Gunny, because like what you're saying too, like, and I had to be my mindset too. I'm right there with you. I'm like, look, 2 years you put him at right tackle, 2 years we got season-ending injuries. But the truth is that it had nothing to do. The 1 year he actually did get injured while he was playing guard, though. He played right tackle that year, but he got injured while he was playing guard. But it's like they didn't have anything to do with being a right tackle. So like when he did the Achilles, he was actually playing guard. So I don't know. I'm with you, man. I really am. But their plan, think about it. The offensive line is already fixed. Like you're heading into the draft. People think you got this big hole, but you really don't. You know what I mean? So if let's say Tyler Warren and Membu are there at 5 and 6, and there's a team behind you that wants Membu, they trade up to get him, and that pushes Tyler Warren down. Like you're telegraphing something. I don't know. I think it's. I don't know.
I mean,
If
there's
they
something
took
there.
Nembu, I'm fine with it. I really am. Go ahead, finish
Yeah.
your line. If that's what they do, it's not what I want to do necessarily.
No,
but he's a
same
good
here.
player. I like him. And if that's what they want to do, they're just we're finishing the line. I applaud it. Good. Then just do it. But I think that I'm telling you, man, all the pieces are here. There's dots to connect. And again, like it's weird. Somebody, I think it was Tigo, he brought it up. Like, dude, in Josh Myers' contract, there's Pro Bowl incentives, Super Bowl, and all that kind of shit. Like, why is that stuff there? You know what I mean? If he's just a backup,
yeah.
It's just weird. It's just, I don't know. Anyway, with that all said, thank you, E-Rock. I'm going to now take a second, and we're going to remind you of our sponsor, okay? Raycon Earbuds, everybody. They're sponsoring the show. We're giving you a great offer, and I'm going to show you what that is right now. Let me do it the right way. Come on. There it is. Wait. Whoop. Here we go. I can't get us off the screen. I want to get us off. Here we go. Wait. There we go. All right, guys. Raycon earbuds. Here's how you learn about the offer, everybody. From early mornings to late nights, mom is always on the go, juggling family, work, and everything in between. Well, this Mother's Day, treat her. Raycon. All right, Gunny. Raycon earbuds, everybody. They look pretty good. They look pretty good, right? And I know they're good.
I don't think we heard like half of that commercial.
What? What do you mean? Why not?
I couldn't hear it. I don't know if anybody else could hear it. I could not hear it.
Could you guys hear
no.
it?
Yeah, no, I can see it right now. People are saying the same thing. I
can't
can't hear
hear
the
it?
promo. None of it was heard.
Bullshit.
Yeah. So
All right,
like you started the commercial and then it was just me trying to read your lips after that.
Could you
Love the
hear it at
enthusiasm
first?
though. The body language was great.
All right. Well, I got to play it, man.
Yeah,
Well,
you
that's some
gotta-
bullshit. So hold on a second here.
All right.
Why would it do that, Gunny? Why do you think
Yeah,
it
it
would do
started
that?
off, and I could hear it when it started off, and then it just went quiet. And then on the back end, when you were done, it was like Raycon, and I was like, "Oh, I heard that."
Really?
Like on the
That's
back
crazy
end when you were
town.
finished.
All right. Well, let's see if it works this way. We'll do it this way. All right. Jesus Christmas. Sorry.
No worries. I
All
thought
right,
it
here
was
we
just
go.
me.
No, I wish it was. Let's see. All right. Well, I know it's such a great offer too, man. It's like I'm telling you, I use them literally every night, every
20%
single
off.
night. These are my go-tos. They're in my they come with me to the gym and I listen to audiobooks and I go to sleep. So anyway, here we go. Let's do this. I'll do that. You got to tell me if you can hear it right out of the gate then.
I got you.
Here we go. From early mornings to late nights. You hear it?
Yep.
All right, here we go. All right, everybody. Here's the ad. for Raycon earbuds. From early mornings to late nights, mom is always on the go, juggling family, work, and everything in between. Well, this Mother's Day, treat her to everyday earbuds by Raycon because she deserves a moment to relax, recharge, and enjoy her favorite music, podcasts, and calls in crystal clear sound. And if your child's mother is anything like my children's mother, you know she's sitting there listening to audiobooks all day long with this new crazy genre called romantasy. Have you heard of that? Anybody? Check into it if you haven't. Crazy place. All you do is you take your little earbud, ergonomically designed to fit pretty much every ear hole on the planet. Raycon, one of the most comfortable earbuds out there, gives you 32 hours of battery life. 32 hours. And if you're listening for 33 straight hours, guess what? All you need is a 10-minute little boost, and you get 90 minutes of charge with your Raycon earbuds. We're going to tell you they're about half the price of every other earbud company out there. Well, we're going to take 20% off to give you even more of a deal. All you have to do is go to buyraycon.com/greenbean, 20% off site wide. Anything that your heart desires from the Raycon site, buyraycon.com/greenbean, 20% off Raycon. All right, we heard it that time, everybody.
Yes,
It's
came in clear.
Right,
Crystal
you got to
clear.
know how to get the deal, Gunny.
Nah,
They're
100%.
already they're already half the price of the leading brands. They're half 20% off on top of that. You know, the 32 hours of battery life. That's what I dig. That's the most important thing to me. I carry earbuds in my bag all the time, and I think they're charged, and I put them in, and they're not. I hate it. These things have been charged the whole time. I love Raycon earbuds. Buy raycon.com/greenbean, everybody. Get yourself an additional 20% off your entire order site-wide. They also have over-the-ear headphones and all that too. So anyway, thank you for Raycon for sponsoring the Thursday Thick of It. And thank you to everybody for the patience on the first ad because it's why you want to just watch me move around. You got to hear what's going on, everybody. All right. So thank you to Raycon for hanging out with us tonight. Who was next here? We got JJ Hamza checking back in. I want Will Campbell. All right. Well, there it goes. So he's on the offensive line, not buying the Membu burst of excitement post combine. Membu had quite the combine, and I think what stood out to everybody, even like the most, that 40 when he was running the 40, and he goes, "Rah!" Like you don't see that every day. You know what I mean? Somebody screaming. Yeah. He's digging. That gives you the impression he's like, effort, man. Effort. That's very attractive, man. Do you like Membu?
Yeah, I like Membu. I do. I think he has the potential to be really good at the next level. I don't get, you know what I'm saying, Pro Bowl, all pro vibes from him, but I do believe he's going to be a capable starter at the NFL level. I just think at number 7, I think that's high for a right tackle, right? A guy who's never going to play the left side of the field, right tackle guy. And again, I know you're finishing up the offensive line. There's a lot to be said about, Aaron Glenn coming from the Lions in regards to how much they put into creating that big, beefy offensive line. But yeah, I don't think I'm not going to be mad at Membu. If that's the guy, that's the guy. I see the picture. I understand the need to go ahead and protect the quarterback. But I'm telling you, man, my gut is telling me it's Tyler Warren. I think Tyler Warren is going to be the guy.
And I think it's a smart move, like you get a pass catcher, right? The thing is with the wide receivers, you know what I think? This is what's interesting. Most drafts, we're talking wide receivers all day, every day, right? Look at last year. The top 10 had we saw Marvin Harrison Jr. We saw Malik Neighbors. We saw Romo Dunze, all in the top 10, 3 of them. And then right after that, you had more. I mean, the first round, I think there were 7 wide receivers taken in the first round last year. 7, Gunny. Dude, think about this. The first 13 picks, there was only 3 positions and the one guy who wasn't those three positions, Brock Bowers. So it was quarterback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, the entire top 13 picks. And it was like Brock Bowers is the only X factor. This is just significantly different draft. We're not even talking about wide receivers. Think about it. If Ted McMillan didn't have the kind of the buzz that he had, and if Golden ran real fast at the combine, so he's got a little bit of hubbub, but nobody's even talking about these guys. Isn't it a weird year?
Yeah, it is weird. No, you're right. It is really weird.
I think we're going to see a lot more wide receivers go in the top round, the first round, than we're talking about. I think there's probably going to be, at least 4, 5, 6 wide receivers, because like we just talked about, man, dude, you gotta lock a wide receiver up. Getting that first round, getting a cheap wide receiver for that extra year, the 5th year, that's so important. And guys like Ibuka, like Luther Burden, like Golden, and even Jalen Higgins and some others. Like, dude, I don't know. I think teams are going to pull the trigger, because once you get past that, I don't know. Like, that 5th year option is so valuable.
Yeah.
For a position like a quarterback, left tackle, wide receiver, edge rusher. Like,
those
that's
premium positions. Yeah.
You got to do it. You got to do it. So I think, look, I just think Tyler Warren, when you look at Justin Fields, he likes to use the tight end. And if you get a guy in here who can block, he's not thunderous. He's not like the best blocker in the world, but he's he's very capable, big
one blocker. Yep.
And he's got great hands, and he's good with the ball in his hands. You run after the catch. It just makes so much sense. And we have Ruckert, who's a Justin Fields guy, right? They know each other and the whole thing. He calls him Ruck, which is nice. But so maybe he has a resurgence, but been very disappointing so far. And he has. And you got Stone Smart. That's what we got in the tight end.
Stone Smart.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Leaves very little to be desired.
I would have rather had Kenny Yeboah. I really would. Who knows? Maybe this guy's going to be great. People seem to like him. He's a purely pass-catching tight end at 225 pounds or whatever he is. But anyway, so I don't know. It just makes a ton of sense to me, even though it is it's a deep tight end class. So, hey, what do you think about this? If the Jets do take a tight end, but they choose Colston Loveland, how would that make you feel?
When are we talking about choosing Colston?
Like at 7. Like, what if they do go tight end, but they think Loveland's a better prospect than Warren? What do you think of that?
I think I'm a little salty.
Yeah.
I think that's oh man, I think at that point it's more gamble, right? I think you're betting on, the what ifs, the ceiling of the guy more so than what the tape tells you. I don't think the tape tells you that this guy's a first round guy. I'd be a little salty about that. Like, if you don't go Tyler Warren and you want to go tight end, like you said, it is a deep tight end class. I'm okay with going, with a guy later on, 3rd round, maybe 2nd round, maybe. But for me, if it's not going to be Tyler, then you got to go wide receiver. And I think right now Tet is the unquestioned number 1 wide receiver in this particular class. So I think you have to go there. But yeah, I'd be a little salty personally.
Yeah, I could see a lot of people. Could you imagine, so the Jets pass on Brock Bowers last year at 11, where we traded back, and then we use number 7 on a guy who's, what did he have? 35 catches last year.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's Michigan's offense. It's Colston Loveland is an absolute stud. You know what I mean? When you really watch what he's doing, he's a stud. It's just the Michigan offense. It's always that way. You know what I mean?
True. You know what I'm saying? And I don't get twisted. I like Colston. I do. I love his size. You know what I'm saying? Big body guy. Like, what is he? 250, 6'5"?
Yeah, he's up there.
Big dude. He ran a 4.6 or 4.7 40, something like that. Like, I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying I don't think he should be going in the first round. And again, you like the tape you just said, right? Maybe it is because of Michigan that we didn't see his utilization that much. But man, I don't know, man. I feel like at that point, if Tyler Warren is there and you're going the tight end route, it just makes sense. Go with Tyler Warren, right? But I guess it
Yeah.
boils down to, like I said before, I'm going to trust Aaron Glenn because he's got the pedigree of a scout, right? So like,
yeah, he does.
And I'm just sitting on the sidelines here, you know what I'm saying, as a arm couch or whatever GM. But man, I don't know. I'd feel some type of way.
That's a really great point, man. That you just slid in there on unsuspectedly. Aaron Glenn, our head coach. This is pretty rare, actually. Our head coach was a scout. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not only was he an actual player, right? Like, he was a Pro Bowl, all pro level player who played under some of the great coaches. But he coached under great, like, Super Bowl legendary, like Sean Payton and, Dan Campbell now turning the fucking hapless Detroit Lions around. But like, he's a scout. He was an actual area scout. That's pretty crazy. You know what I mean? Like, really?
True.
You just threw that in there. It's like, wait a second. That's actually very important. He's got a different, way of looking at this. He sees it through that scout lens, how they break things down. But yeah, man, I think it's like one of those things where we just got to trust them, right? We don't know shit about these guys. We don't know if they're going to be aggressive. We don't know if they're going to be, tentative or, we don't know if they're going to make bad trades, all that kind of stuff. The one thing I can say that this regime gives me the impression of, right? We don't know shit about Muji, but Aaron Glenn, Spielman, the one thing I feel confident in saying, they're going to be disciplined. So they're going to have their board and they're going to stick to it. They're going to be disciplined to their pre-draft work, which makes me a little excited. That's important because, look, man, you don't spend 6 months, really a year for the scouts, all year. You get together for a few months and you're looking at everything. You put it all down. You make your big board. You got your tiers. Who's a first-round grade? Who's the top tier in the first round? Who's the next guy? And if there's one guy left on your top tier at 7, you take him. You got to be disciplined. You know what I mean? And do that. So I don't know. It's going to be, that's the one thing I think that they will be, but it's going to be so interesting getting to know these guys with actual boots on the ground in the real deal draft. We could talk all we want, but the draft is the draft. That's when you learn. E-Boogie checking in. What's up, bud? Good to see you as always. Love me some E-Boogie. Fellas, how would you feel if the Eagles wanted to come up to pick 7? The compensation is a pick swap first. Oh, my God. So you're going to swap first. They're at pick 32, obviously, right, everybody?
Right.
So we get A.J. Brown and an extra third-round pick. Yes or no? Gunny, he wants you to answer first. All right. The Jets go from 7 to 32, but you get A.J. Brown and a third. But you still keep your first. That's fucking crazy. That's a massive leap. But Gunny, you're up first. What are you thinking?
I think I go back to my thought process of this team is at least a couple of drafts away. I think, like, in terms of really being Super Bowl contenders. Ooh. And I think you only risk bringing in a guy like A.J. Brown that could literally impact the culture you're trying to build. Let's be honest, man. A.J. Brown is not the easiest guy to get along with. Like, he seems to play at his own, like, got some diva to him. Is he somebody you want to bring in to impact and influence the young movement you're trying to go with in this locker room? I don't know if man, no, I don't do it. I don't do it. I don't go from 7 to 32 for AJ Brown. The extra third round pick sounds enticing. Now, if you're talking about like a second round pick in next year's draft, maybe that pushes me more, since I really believe that quarterback that we want is there for next year. But no, I think in this situation, AJ Brown for me is the guy that I mean, there's a reason why the Titans got rid of him, right? And if the Eagles were willing to let go of him, that should be telling as well. So, like, no, I don't think we're in a position right now where AJ Brown is going to help us win a Super Bowl. And I'd rather go ahead and make sure we save that money to make sure we give it to Garrett Wilson because of what he brings to the table as a player, but also as a representative of the team. So for me, it will be a no. But I see the appeal in terms of bringing, the skill set into the building. But AJ Brown just gives me a lot of like Antonio Brown type of vibes, man. I just don't know what you're going to get from this dude week in and week out, and the crying and whatnot. No, I'm a pass. I'm a pass on AJ Brown.
Yeah, it's fun to watch you kind of think and process it and go through the whole. You're like, but it's like, look, AJ Brown is a badass, right?
Yeah.
Like he is the real deal, big, strong, fast, like basically has that attitude. Like when that ball goes up, like that ball's mine, son. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like I love that about AJ Brown. So like the shiny thing aspect of it, it's like my first inclination is to go, wait a minute. I keep my first, get AJ Brown, and I mean not my first, but I still get a pick in the first round.
Yeah.
I get an extra third and AJ Brown. Like I'm basically giving up nothing except draft position. I mean, my first thought is fuck yeah. But like you said, number one, he's expensive as hell. Number two, we're not really there yet. If there's a problem, we still got to like settle in. He's used to being on a team that's a well-oiled machine and all this stuff. He's the diva. So is he going to be a problem? And then don't forget, we just talked about it, E-Boogie. Aaron Glenn wants guys who want to be here. You trade for AJ Brown, that's not necessarily what you're getting. You're getting a guy, you're going to take him from a Super Bowl team to the Jets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he's coming, he ain't coming excited. Yeah, man, this is what I wanted. So I don't know. I don't think I do it either. I really don't. It's look, we just gave Devontae Adams away for nothing. Right?
For pennies on the dollar.
We didn't even try to make make a push for it. We didn't. I mean, maybe they did, but it didn't seem like we did. We worked too hard on trying to keep him. We literally released Devontae Adams and got nothing for him. I don't see them bringing in AJ Brown. They would have just tried to keep Devontae Adams here. I don't see it, E-Boogie. So I got to say, while I definitely thought about it, I think the answer is no. I think the answer is no, too. I agree with Gunny. So, guys, I'll remind you, E-Boogie now is entered into the drawing that we'll do at the end of the show to be one of the owners of, there's only 4 in the world. 4, oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, so 5 in the, I've said 4, 5. So, Ryan has one. Matt O'Leary has one. I have one. There was one other set that we gave away. No, so 4. Yeah, because I'll be giving you mine. In the entire world. So we got the coaster set, the Talking Jets coaster set. Right, truly limited.
Truly limited edition.
No more made. Right here they are. So you got the GreenBean, you got the O'Leary, you got the Ryan Jets Talk 24/7 with the little, look at the jet. That's awesome. And then you got the Talking Jets one. So every super chat is getting entered. So you're entered, E-Boogie. You're in the mix, baby. So who's next here? We got Jerry, E-Boogie. All right. JJ Hompson checking back in. Excuse me. If we take Warren after passing on Bowers last year, my head will explode. How jet-like? It's almost a lock. Kyle Brady 2.0. I get it. Again, like once again, like your points always have a base in logic, right? Like I get it. But the thing to remember, it's not like we passed on Brett Bowers. These guys were not here. They didn't pass on anybody. So if we hold them, like you can't take a new regime and hold them to some restricted thinking because of something that somebody else did. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you can't do that here but that's the move I want to make. You can't because we passed on Brock Bowers. It's like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? I just got here. This is the move I want to make. But as fans, I get it. But again, if Aaron Glenn and Muji and Spielman and the rest of the crew think, look, we're going to grab Tyler Warren in the first, we're going to grab Jalen Higgins in the second, and we're going to get Ozzie Trapillo in the third. Or maybe, look, let's say they do that. Dude, I got to applaud it. I want 3 offensive picks. That's what I really want. But how about this? Do you think, Gunny, realistically, do you think that the Jets could possibly, we do it all the time in mocks, right? But the real live New York Jets, do you think that they could actually have the balls to pull in a 2 tight end draft? Like, for example, a Tyler Warren in the first and a Mason Taylor in the third, something like that. Because, look, Stone Smart, whatever. I mean, his contract's I think it's $50 and a fucking Taco Bell gift card. I don't really know what it is, but he's not a lock, right? Is he guaranteed? I got to look at his contract, but if you have the opportunity, right, to get Tyler Warren and Mason Taylor, do you think the Jets would have the balls to do something like that? And then if they do you think they should?
Well, I want to kind of tackle this too in regards to the Bowers situation. Look, the Bowers was exciting. He was fun to watch last year. I won't lie to you. I watched him play the Raiders last year, and you were like, oh man, okay, kid is a nice shiny toy. They won 4 games. As shiny as he was, all the stats you put up, all that, they won 4 games.
That's
Odo
right.
Fashanu for me was definitively the right pick because
no doubt
we won more games, if you want to look at it that way. Won more games, way more chaotic, right? So
that's right. We were better.
We were better. We were better. As chaotic as we were still better on the stat sheet. Like GreenBean said, this is a different regime. You can't really put that on those guys because they weren't here. I don't think they have the balls, though. I don't think they have the balls to go 2 tight ends. And I say that only because of they need that right tackle. They need that wide receiver, right? I think they might want to go ahead and you need a defensive tackle as well in there as well. And I think those premium picks are going to go to filling some need. Whoever they pick in the top 3 rounds, they're going to expect to be starters for them. I really believe that's going to be the case to fill a hole and be starters for us. Now, if you said grab a guy in the 5th, right? So you said yeah. Mason Taylor,
who I love. I just love him.
I love Mason Taylor too. I think he's a stud. I would love to get him on this roster. I think he's going to be gone by the 3rd round as well. That's a perfect spot for him. But what if they go with Terrence Ferguson in the 5th or the 6th, right?
5th.
Maybe what was that kid's name? Out of Nebraska, Thomas something. Having a brain fart. But there's a kid out of Nebraska, Thomas something. I like his size. You know what I'm saying?
Thomas Fedone.
Fedone. Yeah. Yep. Big body dude, 6'6", 250 something pounds. Got some ridiculous catch radius, and a dude that big, he moves as fast, I think, as Colston Loveland does too, which is saying a lot. So I would be on board for that. I think you're bringing in a couple of guys that again elevate that tight end room because, like you said before, who's in there right now? Who's right in the tight end room right now? So yeah, I think if you're talking about 1st and then a 5th or a 6th, that's feasible. But I think in the top 3 rounds, there's no way. I think those top 3 guys are going to be they're going to be looking at them to be impact or immediate impact guys that are going to go ahead and get on the field at the same time. So I would say they don't have the balls to do it in the top 3, but I could see them doing it in that top, round 5, round 6, taking another flyer on one of these other tight ends. Because this tight end class, in all actuality, is pretty deep. There's some guys who are going to be picked probably in the 6th or 7th round and probably wind up being one of the top 2 tight ends in this draft class because that's just how deep it is in terms of these guys' freakish sizes and their athletic ability.
Now, just so you guys know, Stone Smart's contract is not prohibitive, everybody. So, and you know what's really interesting about him? He's a tight end from Old Dominion. So we currently have 2 tight ends on our roster from Old Dominion here in fucking Virginia. What a world. But so his contract is $1.35 million a contract. $250,000 is guaranteed. So he did get a $250,000 bonus. So that's what's guaranteed. If we cut him, like let's say we see the opportunity, just like you said, I would love that Fedone guy. I would love it if Terrence Ferguson was here. If they do pull together a draft that says Tyler Warren and Terrence Ferguson are in the house, and you got Rucker, they let them play out in the preseason and the training camp and everything, and they need to cut Stone Smart or, whatever. Dude, it's $250,000. It's no fuss, no muss. So it's not prohibitive in a way like, you already have them locked up. I mean, they have them, but if they can improve on it, then they can. And you could try to sneak them on the practice squad and that whole thing or whatever. Or maybe they go light on wide receiver, man. Maybe they do the 4 tight end thing. You know what I mean? And you do, instead of having 6 wide receivers, you do, 5 wide receivers and 4 tight ends and, 3 running backs. And you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe who knows? Man. I'm not against that kind of shit.
I'm not against it either, if I'm being honest, man. Change it up. Do something we haven't seen before, man. Like,
right.
We have not seen the 21st century offense as Jets fans in the 21st century. I'm ready to see it. I would love to see it. So surprise us, man. Get your stuff together. Surprise us. Put a quality offense out there. Even we're struggling to see it because we haven't seen it. So hopefully one of these coaches is creative enough to go ahead and make that a reality for us as Jets fans.
Right. And as we talk about this, I'll end my poll. I had another poll up there. How confident are you in Aaron Glenn Muji, the Aaron Glenn Muji collective heading into this draft? So 44% said, I'm a little nervous after free agency. 43%, so this is close. 44% said they're a little nervous. 43% said, I'm extremely confident because of discipline. And 12% are shitting themselves. Gunny, that's what they said. Yeah, they're shitting themselves. So interesting, heading into the draft. I don't know. I like the idea of, like you said, changing it up a little bit. But look, the NFL is a cyclical trend thing, right? So, you had all these teams, like running back was king, right? And then everybody starts, or you get these running quarterbacks, all this kind of shit, and these fast wide receivers. So that trend comes in. And what do defenses do? So they start getting more, nickel and dime packages. And then what happens? You see Saleh doing this. You start taking safeties and converting them to linebackers. All the linebackers went from 255 to 225, 230, so they can cover, so they're quicker. So the best thing to do, if you're going to really counteract that, now that they got this defense built with 225-pound linebackers and extra DBs out there that are $180, $185, the best thing to do is start running at them with some heavy hitters that they can. So tight ends and running backs are back. Big wide receivers. So look, we got Garrett Wilson. You add another wide receiver, whatever you do, even if it's a little Luther Burden kind of a guy, a little, Matthew Golden, somebody quick and shit. But you got Malachi Corley. He's violent. We got Brees and Braylon and Isaiah, running the ball. And maybe you go, hey, I see the opportunity to have 4 tight ends, 3 badass running backs, Garrett Wilson, whoever, Luther Burden and fucking Malachi Corley out there. I mean, that's an interesting offense when you're playing dime defenses, man. That's really interesting. They're going to have a hard time stopping you, and you're going to run it down their throat all day. By the end of the third into the fourth quarter, they're going to be beat up, Gunny. You know what I mean? I like it.
Beat them with size and speed. Listen, I'm here for it, GreenBean. I would hope that is something we get to experience as Jets fans. That our offense is not only putting up points, but they're beating down and wearing out the defense, going into the third and the fourth quarter. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and you guys know I'm old school anyway. Like tight end is my favorite position in the whole sport of football. Yes, I like quarterbacks. Yes, I like wide receivers. I like defense. I like it all. But tight end to me, if it's played right, like you get a nice big 255-pound guy that is a good inline blocker. It sucks to say, but like prototypical Rob Gronkowski, right? That guy will knock your fucking head off on the line. And if he's out there in space, you better watch because he'll clean your clock. He's a very effective blocker. So if you do this right, you get a tight end, 250 plus, and he's able to be a force on the offensive line. So when he's chipping at me, it actually has an impact. Or if you need him in there in pass protection, he can actually hold his own with good defensive ends. And then you need him to be a pass catcher. And he's got great hands, runs good routes. And with the ball in his hand, you better go low because he's going to run through you. Like if you can play that position right, it is such a hybrid position. It covers so much blocking and receiving. I mean, if you get a really good one, dude, it can change everything. Like I love the tight end position when it's a really good tight end. So if we do that, we already got the running back. The running back room is our strongest position on this team right now. Truly. Can you think of a stronger position group on the team right now? It's not the wide receivers.
No,
you know what I mean?
100%. I think the running back room is the strongest room we've got right now from top to bottom. I think you've got guys I think we've got 3 guys that could literally be starters on at least half the teams in the NFL. Like they could contribute at the running back position on half the teams in the NFL. Like that's a really good running back room. Now, this whole concept of people was talking about like trading Breece Hall and bringing in Ashton Jeanty with the 7th overall pick, I think is insane that we're even having this kind of a conversation. Like, what are we doing? Like, we've got a guy. We've got a guy that can go ahead and play the running back position at an elite level. We're good there. To go ahead and invest a freaking first round pick, a top 10 pick into that, to me is kind of insane when you think about the return on investment just not being there. So for me, right now the running back room is solid. I kind of feel like you don't have a choice but to go tight end. Maybe this is why they're pushing the Membu thing so much. Maybe that's why they're dangling it out there more so because they want people to believe that's the pick. So their ideal tight end falls to them. Because when you look at that offense, man, that tight end room leaves so like there's nothing to look at and be like, hell yeah, I feel good about this group. There's nothing there. There's literally nothing there.
It's a complete blank slate. I mean, look, we're all rooting for Ruckert, right?
100%.
We'd love to see him turn it around. I mean, if there's a guy you want to root for, it's Ruckert. I mean, with his dad and the whole thing and the Jets fan his whole life. And it's like, but he has been very disappointing. Very disappointing. Because like, look, even if he didn't end up being an impact in the passing game, he's made some really difficult catches, right? So he's got it in him. But even if he didn't end up being a good pass catcher, we were confident that he was going to be a thunderous blocker, right? And he has whiffed many times. Like he's a liability. Now we can chalk it up just like with everybody else. We have an offensive staff that didn't develop a single player in 4 years, and everybody regressed, whether it's guys like Max Mitchell, who we saw come in and, he needed to be developed, but we saw him his rookie year. He got catapulted in there by need, and we saw him play well. He played really well. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, as the years go on, he's getting worse. And then you see free agents coming in, Laken Tomlinson, Tyron Smith, fucking Dwayne Brown, whoever it is, they come here and they have their worst years.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at everybody's struggling on this offense. So maybe Ruckert is a victim of that too. We saw Corley do it like I talked about all week last week. Robert Saleh had to have Corley, no matter what. The whole thing, the text, this is my guy. Joe Douglas trades up for him. Trades up to the first pick in the 3rd round to make sure he gets Malachi Corley. and we can't figure out a way to get him on the fucking field. And don't give me that shit. Well, they gave him a chance and he dropped the ball before the end zone. Dude, the talent was still there. He dropped the ball an inch. It's a stupid play. Nobody's defending the mistake, but it was a mistake. It has nothing to do with his talent or his attitude. He was excited. He made a boneheaded move. You know what I mean? But it's like that, and not for nothing. The good coaches, you know what you do with that guy, Gunny? What do you do as a good coach when that happens?
You pull him aside, make sure he knows the mistake, he learns the mistake, and you throw him back out there to go ahead and make up for it.
That's right. You put him right back on the field. What did they do? They benched him. They put him in the doghouse.
Yep.
Stupidest thing in the world. And so Ruckert, I'm hoping can do that. I'm sure lots of Jets fans are feeling the same way. But man, oh man, we got nothing. When you just look at the room the way it is right now, there's nothing there. So Red Bean checking in. My counterpart in color, green and red together again. Membu, Warren, Genty. I keep getting the feeling we're going D. Oof.
I hope not.
Maybe the Stevens at safety oops wasn't an oops, and we take the tall cornerback from Michigan. Wouldn't that be interesting, Gunny? That's an interesting take, Red Bean. So you know about the oops, right? The Jets had him listed, right, as a safety, and they said no, it was a mistake. Which is interesting that they even came out publicly and said anything.
Yeah,
like why? Who cares? It's a clerical error. Who gives a shit? But that's interesting. So imagine he really is brought here to be the free safety. The strong safety next to Cisco, and that we're putting out the smoke screen of smoke screens. We want Will Johnson. What do you think of that?
Honestly, it's hard to not see the impact of having Will Johnson and Sauce Gardner on the same defense. I think that would be a nightmare for so many offenses to kind of figure out where to go with the ball. But man, I think I'm disappointed still, right? I think at this point, like we've seen good defenses, Jets fans. We've seen that it hasn't resulted in W's. It hasn't resulted in being relevant. We get to pump our chest up that we had a top defense in the NFL. We were still trash. I just think that we've neglected the offense enough, and we need to go ahead and put our eggs into making the offense better. I also feel like with Steve Wilks and a defensive-minded head coach in Aaron Glenn, I feel more confident about the ingredients in the cupboard that they can work with it and make something delicious out of the defense. Whereas the first-time offensive coordinator with, Justin Fields trying to figure out if he can play football at the next, like, I feel like there's more question marks to where you want to kind of solidify the offensive side of the ball. So again, listen, it's Will Johnson is good. Like he's good. Yeah. Like he's built like what you want your cornerback to look like in today's NFL. I think it's like 6'2", 6'3". Buck 95, 200 pounds, pushing 200 pounds. He's fast as hell too. He ran the sub 4.4, I think it was in the combine. So like, I think during draft night we'll be pissed as a fan base, but we'll enjoy watching the kid play football. But I don't think that should be the move. I really believe we need to invest in that freaking offense.
Yeah, I struggle with it too, but I'll tell you what. The idea of cornerback, defensive back, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, wanting that Sauce Gardner, other first round pedigree cornerback tandem to lock it up, because then the safety room would be fixed. They kept Tony Adams, right? You brought in Cisco, you got Brandon Stevens. So like think about that. With one pick, the whole defensive backfield is done. So you could it's not that far-fetched.
It's not.
But here's the thing. And I would be disappointed in it. I really would, because look, if the Justin Fields thing has a shot, JJ Hamsel will say it still doesn't matter, right? But if it's got a shot in hell
of working.
You had better support him.
Yep.
Because the support ain't there. We got no wide receivers other than Garrett Wilson, and we got no fucking tight ends.
No fucking tight ends. None. Like, right. And then you don't bring the kid in, and you're paying him 20-something million. You're paying him starter money, and then you're coming to the podium talking about like you like what he can do. He can be a weapon, and then you don't actually do things to support. You know what I'm saying? What you're saying, because then you're giving lip service, right? Now you got some of these young guys you're bringing into the building, and they're seeing you provide lip service to the fan base, and to, of course, the guy like Justin Fields. Your whole outlook on trying to create a culture can start to get real shaky real fast. So yeah, I really hope they put some support around Justin Fields. And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you Justin Fields is going to be that dude. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that Justin Fields is a franchise guy. But what if? Just what if, right? Like you got to wonder if he's properly supported, what can he accomplish? Again, last year he was 4-2. His passing stats were up. Freaking numbers looked good, but they went with the veteran approach because they wanted to get the ball down the field. Put the ball down the field. So okay, cool, got it. I'm curious to see if Justin Fields has the ability to play quarterback at the NFL level, but I'm willing to risk that he doesn't, because I really, really like next year's freaking draft class. And I would like that draft class to have support as well going into their first year.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a tough one for me to swallow. And it's like that, the idea, like you brought it up a few minutes ago, the idea that's been floated that the Jets are going to trade Breece Hall. Like truly, if you look at the Jets, there's one position group, and we're even talking special teams. Like there's one position group that you could look at and say, we're good. We're good. Don't mess with it. They're young. You know, they're all talented. They're all three can catch in addition to, they can all block.
Yep.
They can all catch. And they're, you know what I mean? They're all badass. It's the only room that's done. So you're going to trade Breece Hall. You're going to trade him low. The value's low right now. It's a super strong running back class. So who's going to give up what? You're lucky to get a third for him. Let's say you get a third. So you're going to trade Breece Hall, create a hole at your starting running back. Now you could say, no, we're really high on Braylon Allen and whatever. But you're creating a hole in the only position group that's done, that's solid and taken care of. You're creating that hole. And then the answer is because we're going to use number 7 to fill that hole that we just created. So what it does is it effectively doesn't help the team. Like we have holes all over the place.
Yeah, all over.
Everywhere. So you've created one that you use your one premium pick to fill. And then you walk into the rest of the draft needing to fill everything. So it doesn't make any sense. And if the Jets did it, it would be a major hit on how I view them. I'll tell you right now.
No, 100%. I think I would struggle not looking at them as if they were incompetent. And I'd be like, well, here we go. We're strapping guys because it's going to be a long, painful ride. It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And some people are saying like, well, this is his last year. You lose control. Nah, you can franchise tag Breece Hall if you wanted to next year.
Right.
And the franchise tag for a running back is not expensive. It's not expensive at all. Like you can have Breece Hall for the next 2 years. And if you want to keep the guy, the running back position is devalued. It's not really breaking the bank like it used to. The guy can play ball. We know he can play ball. He's also very young. Like he's not like he's an old, he's a young running back. The running back room, I think, is solid, man. Why create, like you said, why create the hole to plug it with a premium pick when there's plenty of holes for you to use it on? That to me, I think is the best way of putting it.
Yeah. It's like we're looking to add, not subtract.
Not subtract.
Right. Now, again, like I think Sean Sharp is saying in the comments, you know, right here, like we don't even know. Glenn has no loyalty to Breece. Yeah, I know it's very true. But he is aware of who's good and who's not good in the league. Yeah. And you look at your roster, like I need defensive tackle help. I could use an edge rusher. You know, I have really one safety that's worth speaking of. I have no fucking tight ends. You know what I mean? Like I need a right tackle. You know, it's like you look all over the place. We need a kicker. Like there's just tons of stuff to do. For the first year, your rookie year, you're not looking to create more holes than you already have, and we have plenty. You know, so and even look if next year, like you said, Brees wants to if he's at the end of his contract, you can franchise him, you can offer him an extension, see how that goes, or you can let him walk. You see how it goes, and then you can figure it out next year. But for this year, we got enough to figure out. Infrared comes in, Gunny, and he gives 5 StreamBeaner memberships. Thank you to Infrared. Now, the guys that are lucky enough to be the recipients of this amazing offer from Infrared is Sean Sharp, who we just mentioned a second ago. Congratulations. E-Rock Polk gets 1. Mike Rubino gets 1. Ethan Bracolo gets 1. And Karanzan is the 5th and final recipient of the StreamBeaner memberships from courtesy of the great Infrared.
Appreciate you, Infrared.
Thank you. Enjoy your emojis, your free super chats, and the content that's out there for members only. I thank you guys so much for the support. It helps the channel immensely, everybody. So I threw a quick poll up there. How would you feel if the Jets did go tight end in the first and went tight end again in the third or fourth? So again, not a first round pick, but the third round's considered, premium, right?
Premium.
That day 1 and 2. And the fourths are very valuable. That's who pops through. Like if you're at the top end of that 4th round, you can get some gems, baby.
Yeah.
Right. That's a sweet spot.
That's facts. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a sweet spot. So let's see what else. We'll get to some comments here. Christopher Byers checking in. What's up, Chris? And thank you for all the nice comments. You really touch me, man. I'm glad. I'm just grateful that you take the time to say those things. I appreciate it. I want you to know I see it. So thank you. Warren and Loveland in the first round, possibly. Then Hawes, Conyers, Ferguson later. I'm telling you, man, I would be delighted if the Jets did that. Dude, if the Jets somehow figured out how to get Tyler Warren and fucking Mason Taylor in here, I would lose my marbles.
Yeah.
I would lose my marbles. That's my kind of draft, baby. And then in the middle there, you get Jalen Higgins or somebody like that. Oh, my God. I'd be like, dude, we did it.
Best draft ever.
Yeah, we did
We're so back.
Let's see what else we got here. I'm at the bottom. Running back. RB says Brees can't finish long runs anymore, like he never recovered from his torn ACL. He drops a lot of passes and fumbles too much. I don't think that's true. Hopefully a lot of that was bad coaching, and Brees has fumbled. I wouldn't say he fumbles a lot. Where's that stat?
Yeah. I don't think he. That's the second time I saw that too. Is that he fumbles?
Maybe I'm wrong. Let me see. Running NFL running back fumble stats. Let's see. 2024.
Oh man, nah, you had 5 last year.
Damn. 5. Well, maybe he's right.
That is a lot. Oof. But he also had 5 20+ rushes. I'm sorry, that's receiving. Wow, yeah, what the crap? So 20+ receiving.
Oh, he had 6 fumbles. Maybe
6 fumbles.
That's not good.
I'm
saying not a good look.
No, it's not. That's not at all. Look.
Yep, there's no defense. No defense.
Yeah, it's hard to. There's nothing you can. I can't.
I'm not gonna try to.
That's unacceptable. Yeah, that's unacceptable.
One player in the NFL had more. His name is Ramondre Stevenson. So, Aaron Jones had 5. Kyron Williams had 5. But that's it, man. He was number 2 in the NFL for fumbles. That is
gross
not good.
Company to be in. I'm not. Yeah. You know what? I don't know why that even escaped me, because that's a lot for us to not have noticed it. So. Yeah, there's no excuse for that. That's the running back's primary job. Don't fumble. Like, that's you and the defense. They're going to go after the ball. Like, you're supposed to be a premium guy. You need to know better than that. Again, I think I think maybe again. I think people forget like the sophomore slump used to be a real thing, right? He didn't really get a full sophomore year to kind of have his slump. Maybe it took him a little while for it to hit. I'm giving that same kind of pass to Sauce Gardner as well. That, you know what I'm saying? Like maybe it just took a little while for that sophomore slump to finally hit him. But yeah, no, that is pretty gross.
Last year was weird, you know, because here's another thing though. Like, I don't defend the fumbles, but last year was, you know, like, so we're doing this wide zone scheme. Last year they decided we're going to do more of a power scheme, you know, so they changed the entire blocking scheme, right? The whole system. And we saw it the first quarter of the season. We all said it. Brees looks off this year.
Yeah.
And everybody looked off. So like the blocking sucked. I mean, there was no way, you know, it was just a big mess. And I think that end of it has a lot to do with coaching. Like they changed everything and they didn't have the horses to do it. They didn't have the horse. They don't have the fucking brain trust to actually make changes like that. So, but anyway, man, I don't know. That's an interesting stat. We'll see if Brees can rebound. I don't like that. I don't like ending the show on that, RB.
Yeah, right? Bringing up facts like that to go ahead and
right. E-Rock says, still haven't changed my mind. Brees is going to be solid. I know. I believe in Brees too.
Yeah,
I love Brees.
I love Brees. I love his character. I love his demeanor. I love his game. I'm a big fan of Brees.
Hey, Mikey Mal's checking in. It's good to see you, buddy. Says, been a while. Been creeping recently. Well, good. I'm glad you're creeping back in. Let's hang out with us for the draft at least, man. You know, that's what we got to do. We got to hang out and have some fun. That's the most fun we have of late. Anyway, dude, I can't tell you how many Jets drafts I watched. And even like before YouTube and all that kind of stuff, I would watch and I would log into Jet Nation and we had like, you know, our chat and our streams and our threads. And dude, I watched drafts with those guys and it was like we were miserable. We're like, what are they doing? That was all the Idzik and McCagnon years. It was like you couldn't tell what they were doing. It was like every pick made less sense than the last. It was just like I don't understand. It's like the best example is Mike McCagnon trades 3 second-round picks to move up 3 spots in the draft. He does it early, so he has no idea who he's getting, which is stupid, you know. Like it's one thing if you're going to trade up to number 1, number 2, but number 3, that's a lot of space for you to lose out on your guy, right? So they thought they were getting Baker Mayfield because Sam Darnold was the consensus. Everybody knew Sam Darnold was going to get picked first overall. He didn't do that. He ended up sliding to us, so fine. So Mike McCagnon is interviewed right after the Jets pick. He gets Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold slides to him. He can't believe it. He's ecstatic. We love this guy. We didn't think we had a chance to get him. We're delighted. And this is what he says, Gunny. Now my job, the rest of the draft is building around him. So we didn't have a second because we traded it up to move up. So you know what he does in that draft? His next pick, he says, my job now is to build around Sam Darnold. He gets the quarterback, the franchise guy. His next pick in the 3rd round is small school 25-year-old Nathan Shepard, defensive tackle from fucking Tulane. It's like that's what he thinks is the move. Dude, he took another defensive tackle in that draft and an injured linebacker. I think it was. I'd have to look. The only thing he gave Sam Darnold in that entire draft was a 4th-round tight end. And what the hell was his name? Remember, we all liked him. He was good for 5 minutes. Who was our tight end? Oh, shit.
I'm having a brain fart.
I can't. Herndon.
Chris Herndon. Yeah, Chris
Herndon. And then he gave him, I think it was Trenton Cannon, a running back in the 6th round kind of a thing. Let me tell you. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. So, right. He takes Sam Darnold. So this is what he does. This is our GM. Where are the Jets? So he does the 3rd round. He comes in and he takes Nathan Shepard at pick 72. So good. Then he goes I mean, Mark Andrews was there. Orlando Brown was there. It's like just so crazy. So then he does, let me see here, the New York Jets. Then the 4th round, he takes Herndon. So, okay, gets him a little help. So we're like, okay, that's a little help. Chris Herndon was solid. He's a solid pick. So then we do, and I see it that we just passed 10. I didn't realize. So we'll do that. Hold on. Where's our 5th round pick? Where's the Jets?
All right, bud.
Shit. Damn it. So then he goes for Lunzo Fadukasi, who was good, but another defensive tackle. So he goes quarterback, defensive tackle, tight end, defensive tackle. And then what did he do here? Hold on. And then he goes Trenton Cannon, running back in the 6th round. That's what he gave Sam Darnold. That's me. That's my GM building around his quarterback. So, it's not always fun, Mikey Mouse, but this year I think we'll have a good time. We'll get to know our new staff. With that all said, don't forget to use that pinned comment at the top of the chat to support Gunny's channel, everybody. I want to remind you about the fantastic deal, from Raycon, everybody. Earbuds, I got them right here. The Raycon earbuds, 20% off. The link is in the description, or just go to buyraycon.com/greenbean. That's how you get your 20% off of the Raycon. I just crushed my foot. Yeah, I just crushed it, dude. Like I might be bleeding. Anyway, my chair, my foot was in a thing. Like in my chair, and the hydraulic, and my leg hit the thing, and it just literally, I just had to pull my foot. It's probably bleeding. I could feel it. Anywho, I'll deal with that later. But Raycon, 20% off. Buyraycon.com/greenbean, everybody. Gunny, you got anything coming up you want to tell everybody about before we hop off of here?
Yeah, no, I mean, really, it's just the Tuesday night show, you know what I'm saying, the Hangout, and I do a show with Connor as well right before that on Connor's channel, Connor Long. So, yeah, just come check us out, man. I'm right now trying to go ahead and get the 2,000 subscribers. I have a autographed Namath jersey that I'm going to be giving away to one lucky subscriber of the first 2,000. So, if you haven't subscribed, jump on the channel real quick, like and subscribe, and again, get me to 2,000 so we can go ahead and give this Joe Namath jersey away.
There you go. How far away are you?
I'm about 280 away.
All right, everybody, go over, click that link, give Gunny's channel a boost, and get him over 2,000. And hey, then maybe you can win that Namath jersey. So before we leave, I almost forgot. I got to do
the giveaway.
The giveaway. Let's just real quick. We'll do this one. Random number generator. Here it is. Let's see who wins. Where's my share screen? Here it comes. Here it comes, Gunny. Yeah, wrong verse. Check your foot now. No, it's all right. I'll make it. There's nothing checking it right now is going to do. I appreciate the concern, but I'll fucking put electrical tape on it. We'll be fine. All right. We got 8 super chats, including Infrared's gifted membership. So here we go. We got 8. So the first one wins it. Okay, first one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Number 1, that is our buddy JJ Hamza wins. JJ, you've earned it, buddy. It's been a tough off season for you. You get the coaster. So email me. My email's in the description. Your address and everything, and I'll send that out to you. Thanks everybody for hanging out with us. Gunny, thank you for your time. I can feel your wife wants some Gunny time, I think it is.
Yeah, you're pretty intuitive.
I can sense it. Yeah, I pick up on shit like that. But guys, you're the best. Thanks for hanging out with us. With that all said, have a great night. We will see you next time.
Yeah, here we come, baby. Here we come. Here come the Jets, man.
I want to kiss you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah! You want to run or you want to duck down? You want to duck, just go over and get onto the bench and stay there.
You play to win the game.
My message for the fans, we're all frustrated with where we are right now.
Jets, Jets, Jets.